Alright, welcome to BTN Media. I'm Monk. Scuba's not here today on film, he's behind the camera. Today we've got Patricia on the podcast. We're going to talk about trans issues, and we're going to talk about your past life as a councillor and your socialist leanings and stuff like that.
Socialist all my life, but not a councillor all my life, that was. But aye, socialist, well, since I was 15 really I got.
Really?
Yeah.
So what got you into politics then? What started the revolutionary spirit, shall we say?
Just seeing injustice in the world and seeing things weren't right, and how did I get interested in it? I think actually maybe at school I did modern studies and I had this teacher, wonderful man, called Patricia Lockhart, and Paddy could really explain things really well, and doing that got me interested in what was going on in the world. Paddy was a socialist himself.
Right, aye.
I didn't know when I was at school.
Yeah.
I found out later that Paddy was radical. So Paddy, he was a fantastic teacher, and I learnt a lot from him. And once I left school, I decided, right, I didn't know what party to join, and I looked about and I thought, well, I was going to join the Communist Party, but then I went to an event and somebody came up to me and they says, there's an organisation you might be interested in, and it was a militant tendency.
Right.
So I joined the Labour Party in the militant tendency. But I fell out with militant, it'd be about 1981, 1982 I think it was.
Right.
It would be 1982. If you couldn't disagree with militant, you had to always agree with them.
Right.
And you had to vote with them at times, and that's not me. If I disagree with somebody, or if I don't think a policy is right, I'm going to say I don't think that's right.
I mean, I think when you get to the level of the militant, like the amount of people that were there, the amount of policies they must have had, I mean, it was going to be hard to have everybody think exactly the same.
Aye, but they wanted everybody to think.
See, I think that's always going to be an inefficient way to work. I mean, the party I'm in Solidarity now, and the thing I like about Solidarity is the fact that I can disagree with the leadership and still be involved in it, like actively involved. I'm on the EC now, and last year I did a talk about socialists should be in favour of GMO technology, but against corporate sort of profiteering for it and stuff like that. And basically everybody in the leadership of the party is against that. But the fact that they let me do my talk and they debated and stuff, and I wasn't kicked out, was great. That's the kind of thing I like, and I feel like militant were always going to fail if they had that sort of tough line that you couldn't cross.
Militant were Trotskyists. I suppose I was a bit of a Trotskyist at that time. I'm not anymore. I've moved on from that, but I think I've probably become more radical as I got older.
Right.
Before I was sort of tinkering with capitalism in a way. Now I want to smash it completely. Get rid of capitalism altogether. Capitalism is malign. It hurts people. It doesn't. You can't reform capitalism, because the whole point of capitalism is to make profit for the owners of the factories. Yeah. And the owners of factories tend to be rather greedy people.
So where would you consider yourself to be? Do you have a label? I know there's about 3,000 leftist labels.
Just radical left is my
radical
label.
left, is that it?
That's it. Yeah.
I know a lot of people use socialist, or they use either socialist or communist.
No, I'm socialist. I'm a radical socialist. I'm not quite a communist. Communism tends to favour the state owning the industry and the state running things. I'm more in favour of everything being devolved down to the people.
Libertarian, or whether that could be council communism.
Not really libertarianism, more cooperatives. I want to see the world run on a cooperative basis, where everybody's cooperating each other, where it's a community, and everybody's part of that community, and the community works for each other and works to the means of production is owned by the community. So for instance, Corbyn's talking about renationalising the railways, and I fully support that. But I don't think it should be renationalised in the way it was in 1948 when the railways were nationalised. There, basically, they just made a company which was just like a capitalist company, but owned by the state.
Yeah.
I think if the railways are renationalised, it should be run on a cooperative basis. So you'd have the unions would have people, the communities that the railways go through would have people on the board. There'd be you do need somebody that can sort of steer it. So you'd have somebody that had some business experience, but they would only be to advise, really. But the railways would be run totally not for profit and for the benefit of the communities that they run through.
So would you say roughly Noam Chomsky type ideas?
Probably a Noam Chomsky idea, yeah. But very much looking back to the cooperative movement's ideas. But the state, overall the state would own the railways, but the people would run them.
Right.
Rather than the way it is just now, where actually the state, a lot of folk don't realise, the state still owns the railways. If you think Network Rail is owned by the state, the trains
are private, but
the trains are actually owned by the state.
Oh right.
But the companies hire them. The stations are owned by the state, and all that happens, all the private companies are doing is buying time, or buying time slots,
right,
to take these trains in. They're not. It's like printing money for them.
I didn't realise that either. I thought that was the private companies that owned the trains.
No wait, sorry, I'm wrong. The private companies do own the trains, but overall the government.
I thought the government owned the network.
The government owns the network, private companies own the trains, but the private companies who run the trains don't own the trains. They're owned by another company, and the private companies hire these trains.
Right, I see, right. I got confused.
So the whole thing's convoluted and it's an absolute mess. I mean, if you were going to privatise, and I would never privatise, but if you were going to privatise, I couldn't think of a worse way to privatise. The way they did. So not only was privatisation bad, but the privatisation they chose was probably the worst possible.
Aye.
Private.
It's not really a thing for capitalists to be smart though, is it? I mean,
I hate calling folks stupid, but I started reading, I know, reading some of Trump supporters, reading some of what Boris supporters say, and I began to think, is it a default position that you have to be thick to be right wing?
Well, there's a few situations I read about in 2016-17, roughly just after Trump actually took office, where people who had been arguing for Trump in order to get rid of Obamacare were on ACA, and they weren't aware that ACA was Obamacare, so they had been campaigning to get themselves taken off insurance, and then as soon as they found out that they had lost insurance, they instantly broke down. They were the victim, they had been lied to, all this. Like, no, we had told you for ages what you were trying to do, and you didn't listen. You told us we were stupid, and then you went along with your game plan and it's failed. So I feel kind of sorry, but I'm also like, fuck them.
Well, I've seen interviews before, or I saw interviews before when Obama was bringing out Obamacare.
Right.
And I can't remember what its real name is. Obamacare was actually devised as an insult by the right. But there was this woman, and she's going in a very southern American accent. I can't do it.
Please
we
try
don't want no Obamacare here.
Perfect.
And the interviewer said, have you got any health care? No, but it's better than Obamacare. And it's like, wow. No.
Here's the thing, Obamacare's rubbish as well.
Obamacare is rubbish, but it's better than no.
Aye. Like, we're dismissing it because it's not good enough. And they're like, oh, radical socialist nonsense.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know if you remember the London Olympics and the opening ceremony.
I didn't watch.
And they had a bit about the NHS.
I did hear a bit about this. I didn't watch it, but I heard a wee bit about it.
And it was not shown on American television because it was promoting socialism.
Oh. When was the London Olympics? Was that when Trump was in office?
No, that was 2012. I think.
2012.
I'm trying to mind. Bush was in office. I think it was Bush.
Oh no, it would have been Obama. Obama was in 2008.
Oh right, it was Obama.
2008.
Yeah, it was Obama.
You'd have thought radical socialist Obama would have been into.
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't Obama. It was a television network.
Oh, that makes sense.
Some networks showed it, and some networks.
I'm guessing Fox News was one of the ones
Fox
that
News didn't show it.
That's crazy to me. There's people who try and play the progressive card in America, you know, who are saying they like Medicare for all, but they wouldn't like the NHS because if it isn't cheap enough to sort you, to leave you, and you then get to choose your doctor. And I'm like, where are you told all this nonsense?
It's absolute crap.
I've had multiple. I've had, I don't know, 20 odd surgeries. I've seen multiple doctors. One of the top urologists in Scotland was my surgeon. I didn't pay anything. I actually got petrol money. So I reckon where they're getting this information from, but they just seem to make up.
The thing about the NHS is, I mean, sometimes you're having to wait months, even a year, for treatment, but you're going to get the treatment.
Aye.
You know, that's the whole point. I think the NHS needs a lot more funding. I think there's huge problems in the NHS just now, especially in mental health care. I mean, I know, God,
yes.
I know that myself, but mental health care's just shocking. I mean, I went down to a hospital, must be about 4 months ago, just after my partner dumped me and my mum died, on the same day, by the way. And I was in a terrible state, and I suffer from a condition called borderline personality disorder. It's a bit like bipolar, but it works a lot quicker. You can wake in the morning feeling high, and then by the evening you're looking for the tablets. Anyway, I was in this bad dark place, and I went to the Vic, the accident emergency, because I thought, right, I can either take tablets and kill myself, or I can try and I was given a leaflet for the Samaritans, which was wonderful. And the Samaritans are a religious organisation, I've heard, so they're not exactly that friendly towards people like me.
Yeah. Did you use them?
Did I? I nearly swore.
You can swear.
Hell, I never used them.
So
I left the leaflet lying on the table. The nurse comes round after me. You left your leaflet. I said, you're going to give me my chocolate teapot or no?
I actually tried the Samaritans once in 2014 or 15 or something, and I used their email text service thing because I didn't want to speak to anybody on the phone, and it was like 3 or 4 messages that were great, that were like asking me all about my issues and all that stuff, and then like they got to like 4 or 5, and then it just they stopped caring, and it was like, cool, next.
Aye.
So then at that point you feel like, oh wow, I feel even worse now. Fuck.
What did they try and make you go to church or something?
No, they didn't try and make. I didn't think they were religious. I didn't hear any mention of religion in my thing. It was just at the beginning they were asking me about your issues and sort of they kind of give you like advice because they're no psychiatrists or anything, so they kind of give you advice, but they could like let you talk through your emotions, and sort of they could ask you more questions to help you talk about your emotions more. But then after four or 5 texts of being genuinely interested, it's like they had a quota. They're like, right, now it's time to wrap it up, get rid of it, get on the next person. And then at that point you've just started to feel comfortable, and then they're like, cool, next, and you're like, oh, I feel like shit
like
again.
when you go to a restaurant and they're just like, alright, can you get out, we've got the next people coming in.
Yeah. That sort of thing. That was sort of how it feels like. So you're probably better off having no used them.
Well, the way I saw it as well was, really, the NHS should be treating you, or dealing with you. That's like contracting it out to a third sector organisation, which should not be happening in the NHS, saying, oh well, phone the Samaritans are there. It's not, in my view, what should be happening.
I was also told round about this area it's a 2-year wait for therapist of
Yeah.
any sort. It helps if the doctor actually passed forward your request, which didn't happen, so that's another
Well,
2 years.
I got a letter from a doctor saying that they'd been told that I'd been to see psychiatric services. I mean, remember, I've been sectioned 3 times now, so
Right.
so they know my mental health history, they know the illness I've got, they know how serious it is. I mean, it's serious enough that when I'm still waiting for my driving licence because they're doing medical checks, and because I'm in the middle of a borderline personality disorder episode, there is an acronym for it, and I can never say it because I don't know why. It doesn't trip off my tongue. But because I'm in the middle of an episode, they're doing even more investigations, so I'm crossing my fingers to get my driving licence, but I don't know just now. They said I can drive just now anyway, which is good. But aye, so they know my history, they know I've got a serious mental health condition, but still no capacity. And in fact, the last time I was in, on the trans issues, the last time I was in hospital, I'd been sectioned. And I was, because I live in Cowdenbeath, or I lived in Cowdenbeath at that time, I'm in Kelty now, but the Queen Margaret was the hospital I should have gone to, but they didn't have any beds, so I was sent up to South Eden. So I didn't get my own psychiatrist, I got a locum. He turned out to be transphobic, which I walked into his surgery, or into his room, and he said, right, before we start, the first thing I'm going to have to say that I've had complaints from patients that the way you dress is upsetting and indecent. And then it just went from there bad to worse. In the end, I didn't have the consultation because I walked out and said, no, I don't need to listen to this.
You would think, was a psychiatric doctor, or was
I was an actual psychiatrist.
You would think an actual psychiatrist would, even if they had their own personal bigotry, would
I think
leave it at the door.
what happened to him was, well, not necessarily, because there is, it's down in England, there's a doctor was told by the NHS he couldn't work for them because of his religious views, and he wouldn't deal with gay men or lesbians or transgenders, and he definitely wouldn't deal with transgenders. And his view was, well, you've got to respect my religious position. So I don't know if he was religious or not. He'd come from Nigeria, so I suspect he probably brought that culture over with him, you know, because in Nigeria it's not good to be transgender there. I don't know, but he certainly was. I did complain and got a total whitewash, so everyone, you know, they all sort of.
It's kind of bad that you go to the NHS for help and you expect that you're going to get help, and then you get bigotry, which kind of is bound to put you off.
Aye, but I mean, I've also had some really good stuff from the NHS. I mean, just my own psychiatrist, sadly moved on now, was a guy called Dr. Gandhi, and he was brilliant. He was absolutely fantastic. So I'd say mostly it's alright. The problem is there's just not the resources in it.
No,
so
that is an issue.
Getting seen is a nightmare. It's, I don't know what the Scottish Government are thinking about. I noticed that Scotland has the highest suicide rates in the UK, and you know, all I read from the Scottish Minister was, yes, we're going to do things to try and tackle this and all that. And I thought, stop wringing your hands and put the money in. There's no point wringing your hands and saying we're getting initiatives if the initiatives don't involve more resources. If the resources aren't there, you can have all the initiatives in the world.
They're in a great position though, the SNP, because they get to blame the Westminster for everything that goes bad, and they get to take credit for everything that goes well.
Yeah.
So they didn't want anything to change. They want to stay exactly the same. And why would you want anything to change? That's a perfect life.
Do you know, I sometimes I'll have to admit I'm not a huge fan of the SNP, because I see them as very much a neoliberal capitalist party, pretending to be socialists, because they know that if they were to put out the same neoliberalist agenda in Scotland, they would never get elected. So to get elected, they put out. So they have things like, I mean, the free tuitions. I mean, free university tuition, great, yeah. I think there should be free tuition. Nobody should pay for education. The only problem was, to pay for it, they cut 130,000 college places. So, for further education, a working class person wanting to go to college now is going to find they're only getting a part-time course, and half the courses have gone anyway because they have to pay for university. So the people that have gained a lot were middle class people who now don't have to pay tuition fees. Which I agree, I do think they shouldn't have to pay tuition fees. Nobody should, but
they've just implemented badly.
They've implemented it in a way that looks good, so they can hold their hands up and say, aren't we wonderful, we've got rid of tuition fees, but you don't see the cuts that they've made to make the tuition fees.
The bedroom tax thing as well, they always like to claim credit for that, but they were forced into doing that.
The bedroom tax was interesting. I remember at Fife Council we had a debate on welfare reform. And
were you a councillor this time?
I was still a councillor.
Right, okay.
And Alex Riley put the very good motion. Alex Riley put the motion forward and I seconded it. And I remember saying the SNP could, or the Scottish Government, I didn't say the SNP, I said the Scottish Government could mitigate the council tax, the Scottish Government could mitigate the bedroom tax in Scotland. They've got the power to mitigate the bedroom tax. And the SNP bloc were all shouting, why should we? And I remember one SNP councillor, I'm not going to name them because I actually like the person, but shouted, why should we cover up for Westminster's mess? And my response on that, was, it's not about covering up for Westminster's mess, it's about looking after people, because this is something that's really hurting somebody, and you can't hurt people to try and push your agenda forward. But they were forced into it. Now they say, no we weren't, and Labour voted for it. Because I always blame Labour for everything. And the Tony Blair government did do a lot of bad things, and certainly Labour probably could have done more in Scotland. But Labour's not been in power anywhere for 12 years now. So you can't keep saying Labour.
No, there's only so many times you could use that excuse before it gets stale.
And if the SNP do something and you say, yeah, but you've not really done that properly. Well, we've done better than Labour. And I think it's getting to the stage now where you can't keep saying Labour, because Labour's dead in Scotland. Really, I mean, let's be honest, there is no Labour in Scotland anymore.
I think that would quite easily change if a few things changed, like the independence question. I think Jeremy. I think we spoke a wee bit about this. That Jeremy Corbyn and John McDonnell made the right call by saying that the independence question is up to Scotland and sort of leaving it purely up to people, because that would allow lots of yes people to go and vote for Labour again. But the fact that Richard Leonard and or the rest of the people in Scottish Labour seem very upset about this.
That's a facepalm moment, that.
Aye.
I mean, Corbyn and McDonnell were doing all the right things.
Gave them a lifeline.
And then Richard Leonard and a group of, mostly from the West Coast by the way, wrote this letter condemning it, and you're just like, do you know what? Let's, if you want to commit suicide, I couldn't think of any better way of committing suicide. Maybe they're needing to go to the NHS psychiatrist because there's obviously something.
I could not believe that, and the fact that there's people in Labour that think they're doing the right thing by fighting for the union and the way that they're fighting for it. I mean, sure, if you want to be in favour of staying in the union, that's fine. But in Scotland, if you're a unionist, you're going to vote Tory.
Yeah.
You're not going to vote Labour to stay in the union. That's just it's no a thing that's going to.
When I stepped down as a councillor in Cowdenbeath, an SNP councillor lost a seat at the next election to a Tory.
Mm.
And I could not believe, because I remember standing on the polling on the the ward was made a lot bigger. It's a slightly different ward to the one I had. It now includes Kelty, so there's 4 councillors in that ward now. But I remember standing with an SNP friend at the polling station. We were talking about what the outcome would be, and we both would have actually gone and put money at the bookies that there'd be 2 Labour and 2 SNP. And we laughed about the Tories' chance. I mean, I thought the Tories not got a hope in hell. The Tory will maybe scrape together 150 votes or something, but no.
We had a similar thing through here, because I was a candidate in the last council elections, and so we went round all the. It was actually Jock Penman that took me round all the polling stations. Well, about 4 or 5 of them, and we were standing at the one in Windygates with David Alexander and a Labour. It wasn't a Labour councillor, but it was a Labour person, and they were talking about how they're always sort of working together and they're all friendly and stuff when they be here. And then afterwards we all sort of had a laugh about the Tories getting in. So again, we thought it was going to be 2 Labour, 2 SNP, and no, Tory got in as well. But we've got Largo in our thing, so it might have been Largo there.
But we don't have that excuse in case. And who in our ex-mining community would ever vote Tory? I would like to meet these people.
I would love
because I would like to know what was going through your head that made you vote Tory.
I lived in this town for 26 years, my entire life, actually in this house, my entire life, and I know one person who's a Conservative. Sorry, 2. I know 2 people that are Conservative voters, and one doesn't even stay here anymore. He moved to Dundee.
Well, I don't know any. I can't, maybe because I'm just done. I don't think I could be friends with Tory.
Well, I'm not friends with the guy, to be clear. Just to clear that up before anybody thinks I'm friends with Tories.
Although I've got a friend who's a really good socialist. He comes from quite a famous socialist family, so I'm not going to mention who.
Gordon Brown.
No. Oh, no, he's not socialist.
No, okay.
Behave. So, I was at May Day rally.
Right.
I met him. I hadn't seen him for a wee while, and he says, "Oh, I've got a girlfriend now." And I'm saying, "Oh, that's brilliant." It turned out his girlfriend's a Tory, and I can't get my head around this. I'm thinking, even if I was really desperate, I don't think I could have a partner.
What do they talk about?
That's what I'd like to know. I mean,
so he's a socialist, did you say?
Yeah. I mean, communist.
Like a well-known. Oh, he's a communist, right? Well,
I feel like there's not much conversation, so it's just arguments. That'd be it.
Even like making a sandwich, like that's like there's going to be some mention of something, just because the kid that the HR's views.
The Tory will probably want Dijon mustard rather than just normal mustard.
Aye.
You can imagine.
I quite like Dijon mustard.
Tory.
Tory.
We can't hate Tories in this house.
No.
Here's a pertinent question. Pineapple on pizza.
I love it.
Tory. See, that's middle class bullshit. I hate that.
I'm a vegetarian.
You're a vegetarian. Well, that's, I guess you kind of. Well, not really. Still pineapple.
It's funny, my last partner was the one that got me into vegetarianism. I was already trying to cut down on meat because I'd ballooned to 17.5 stone.
That's my excuse. I've ballooned up.
And I'm now down at 13, so.
That was just for being a vegetarian?
No, I was losing weight before that. The 13 is because I've been in such a bad mental place, so I wasn't eating. And when I did eat, I was being sick, so.
That's not good.
No, but I'm eating now, just to reassure you.
Just vegetarian stuff.
So I became a vegetarian with her because I was cooking for her, and I could not be bothered to cook 2 meals. So I just cooked the 1 meal,
right?
Which is vegetarian.
Were you trying like vegetarian substitutes, like a veggie burger? No. I've cooked vegetarian pasta, vegetarian curry, vegetarian. Didn't put any substitutes in at all. But I found that you had to make the food really tasty. I would imagine.
You had to do all sorts of things to make the food. And
take all the vegetables out.
Yeah, no. You make the vegetables tasty. You can do that.
No.
Yes, you can.
Right, we were going to agree, disagree.
I discovered I really like this, so I stayed vegetarian. But the funny thing was, when she dumped me, and my mum had died, and I was in a bad place, and I was passing Kentucky Fried Chicken, and I thought, all right, person, I'm about to say fuck you, and I went and had a Kentucky Fried Chicken.
What did you hate?
Just despite it.
Was that a burger or did you hear a proper chicken?
And a proper chicken.
Yes.
The full
chicken?
full chicken, the full bucket, everything.
Did you? Oh no.
Which I sat in the car and ate.
Did you regret it?
No, I don't regret doing it. But the next day I thought, you know, why allow her or allow that to make me change?
Well, this will make you feel better. Do you know who Dwayne The Rock Johnson is?
I've heard.
He's a wrestler. He's also a big movie star now.
Right, no, not
Played
really.
the Scorpion King. No.
No.
Anyway, he's always said that you need a cheat meal if you're going to be doing any sort of diet. So you can think about the KFC as your cheat meal.
Oh, yeah, but no, I'm
It's just a one-off, and now you're back onto your.
just a one-off.
Aye.
I'm vegetarian for quite a few reasons. One, started off with that, but also I began to look at things, and I don't even drink cow's milk now.
So you're trying to be a vegan.
No, I don't want to be a vegan.
You don't, right?
Because I like eggs. But I looked at the environment and realised that meat production is one of the worst things for the environment possible. Like, I think if you get a field of cows, you can feed something like 100,000 people. So I don't think it's even that. But you can feed about 100 times more folk with a field of wheat. And a lot of the grain that's grown in this country goes to animal feed as well.
Right.
So there's a lot of food being wasted just so folk can have a steak.
Right.
Plus cows are actually quite a big contributors to climate change, to greenhouse gases. So for your health, for the environment, for food production, vegetarianism's the way to go.
See, we are not vegetarians, but we morally agree that we should be. So we're sort of actively going against what we believe in.
I'll cook you a vegetarian meal sometime.
Right, a nice curry.
It could be curry, it could be Italian, it could be Mexican, it could
You need pretty much anything with veg.
Yeah.
Really.
And there are some substitutes. I mean, I bought it was a substitute Peking duck.
Right.
Oh my god. Oh.
Apart from the Peking duck, rice Pringle things are really good.
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah.
Have you already had them? There's a pal of mine, she was like, oh, these are amazing, these are the best Pringles I've ever had in my life, and I'm scared to eat it because it's in hoisin sauce, and I didn't kind of I like hoisin
hoisin sauce is beautiful.
I've never had hoisin sauce.
It's good.
No.
But I also had it was a substitute barbecued pulled pork.
Right.
And if I was to not tell you what it was and was to have given you that, you would be thinking you were eating barbecued pulled pork.
I like that with vegetarian haggis as well. Vegetarian haggis is really hard to tell.
Vegetarian haggis is actually wonderful stuff.
It's really good actually. We tried it here.
Did I try it?
I think you must have. There's no much difference really. This is mostly grain haggis anyway, really.
Haggis is all grain, so I mean the vegetarian haggis is
there's no real huge difference.
And in actual fact, it's actually quite nicer because sometimes haggis can be quite stodgy. And vegetarian haggis is quite loose. It's really good.
I know the sort of vegan sausage roll by Greg's was pretty good.
Well, it is, and the reason I tried it was Piers Morgan said it was disgusting, and anything that Piers Morgan thinks is disgusting.
That was kind of why I tried it as well. Just anything like the outrage on the vegan sausage roll. That was insane. There wasn't a reason for that.
No.
But that made me go and buy one, and so I've heard people saying that vegan alternatives to certain foods like bolognese and meatballs and stuff like that are better than normal, and normally I dismiss that. But in this case, because it's slightly a slightly different flavour, I can understand why somebody would prefer the vegan one to the normal sausage roll. I prefer the normal sausage roll, but I could totally understand why somebody would prefer the vegan one, because it is pretty good.
It is good.
Pretty
It
good.
is quite nice.
Aye.
In actual fact, wee story about that. There's a big transgender event in Manchester called Sparkle. It's held every year. Huge. Biggest in the world.
You were saying that's where you can get to fight Pride a lot.
Yeah, that's right. And as a joke, they have a beauty pageant. There's about 200 people in there. So as a joke, I put my name forward. I hate beauty pageants. I hate all that sort of crap. Not expecting to get through. And I got into the final. But on the day I went and I got my face done professionally. Nice wee thing, and I looked absolutely gorgeous. Well, but you know what I mean.
Nice and confident.
But after I did that and I had this makeup on that was quite sticky, and it was lunchtime, and I went and got Greg's vegan sausage roll.
Oh no.
And I got my photograph taken, not realising that I still had a bit of Greg's vegan sausage roll pastry sticking to my lips. So which is a shame because it's a nice photo, but
Well, it adds something.
see it.
It means you're authentic.
Means I'm
You still like a wee sausage roll now
I
and
like a
again.
sausage roll.
Aye.
Did you have pastry on here and everything as well?
No, no.
You wipe yourself down and
I wiped myself down and everything, but you know I can't see my lip. That was the trouble.
That's a legit issue, by the way, because sausage roll pastry does get everywhere.
Oh, it gets everywhere.
Aye, it's a mess. Right, so that's a perfect segue to the next bit then. The information that you told me last night. You agreed to the photography. Do you want to explain this?
What it is there was an art exhibition in London and it's transgender.
Two seconds. Do you care about this? No.
No.
Perfect. Go on.
It's transgender women, naked.
Right.
And the point of the exhibition was, and it's all done very nicely and whatnot.
Yeah.
And the point of it was to say we're women, we might have penises, but we're women. The Guardian decided, because the Guardian's awful, really transphobic, and their article about it was awful, very transphobic. So they decided to bring it up to Edinburgh and do it here. And I was at a thing a couple of weeks ago called Solidarity at the Shore down in Leith, and I met the artist, and the artist said, "Do you fancy being a model?" And I thought about it, I thought for a good cause, it's good, it should be fine. So I'm gonna be naked.
I think
my face will be made up, so I'll look like I'll look like this as a woman.
Right.
But the rest of me will be absolutely.
Do you cover yourself up?
No.
Huh.
Oh, you're
It's like full on, so it's not like the calendar girls thing years ago.
No.
Like a bowl on each foot.
No, because the point is to have the penis shown.
Oh, right.
If the penis isn't shown, then.
I would need copious amounts of drugs to go through with that. There's no way in hell I would ever do that. And I look sexy with makeup on. I just put that out there. I look amazing.
I'm quite pleased because when I was up at 17 stone, my stomach hung down and everything like.
And mine does that.
And now my stomach's gone flat again.
Right.
So I'm quite pleased with that. So I'm quite proud of my body anyway.
Aye, I would never do that. Fair play to you.
Honestly.
It'll be interesting.
Aye, it'll be interesting.
I don't know what it's going to be like.
So how's your daughter coping with that? Is she? I'm guessing she can.
Oh, she'll be fine.
She alright with that?
She's been really supportive.
She does seem like she's totally no issues at all with it.
No, none at all. But she's pan.
Right.
So.
Pansexual. Oh, right. Well, that makes sense.
So when you're pan, then. So it's quite interesting, pan.
Well, I used to work with a guy who was pansexual. He actually wore. I think the first year we were at Pride, he wore a bisexual Pride t-shirt because he says that bisexual people are sometimes overlooked and dismissed in the LGBT community, so he's seen as greedy or whatever. And so he isn't bisexual, he's pansexual, but he decided to wear that to support them. And so that was interesting. I've never met anybody that was pansexual in person before, so it was good to hear a conversation.
Just with pan, it is slightly different to being bi. It just means that you go for personality rather than the sex. Whereas bi, you go for anything. Really. It'd be nice to be bi, actually.
See, I'm kind of, sometimes I'm upset that I'm straight. Because like you're limited.
So many options.
I sometimes wish I was into men, because since coming out, the amount of men that chat me up and
you get that a lot, right?
I'll get it all the time.
Alright.
See, what I would be curious about is a genuine interest in you and the difference between that and fetishisation. That's going to be an issue.
There is an issue. There are some people, and they do concern me slightly, and they dress up not because they feel like a woman, not like me, for a sexual kick. I tend to avoid these folk. I don't like fetishisations, but it's up to them, I suppose. I mean, I don't think we should condemn anybody for anything, so long as they don't bother me.
Yeah, but I mean, people that have like a sexual attraction to trans women specifically, but would have no romantic interest.
Oh right, yeah, there are these people.
Apparently, fatter women get that as well, especially like on the obese scale.
Alright.
That's a thing for them as well. They'll find people to have sex with them, but then after that they'll get nothing, no romantic, just nothing there for that. It's just pure fetish.
Aye, there are men who go for trans people, and it's just a sexual thing. They just, I mean, you'll find trans porn on the internet, which, if I was desperate, I might make money. No, I would never do that.
Well, you've already started.
I've already started. But yeah, there are people. But what I find in LGBT clubs is I get a lot of gay men coming on to me, and I think, but you go for men, and I'm not really a man. I'm a woman, and there are some men that have mistaken me for a cis woman, which surprises me as well, because I think I'm a. But some men do think I'm.
That's going to be a compliment, though.
It is. I love it when they do that. But as soon as I open my mouth, well, you can hear me. Oh. I would like to be.
So you never tried to camp it up?
Sometimes when I get had a couple, I can't help myself. I get really calm. Darling. Yes, I do.
No, that's what I would do. Makes it easier.
When I'm out,
and again,
I can't. Sometimes can't help, but I do become very calm. Folk have noticed that.
You say when you're drunk?
I'd never get drunk, but even if I've had a couple of vodkas, then
I think everybody gets a bit calm when they've had a couple of vodkas, though.
Yeah, well, it's a kind of drink, it is.
Because that's my drinking choice.
But the problem with see, I like beer, but beer doesn't like me. It makes me ill. I like wine, but wine doesn't like me. It makes me ill. But I can drink vodka all night and not get ill.
No.
I think I got hangovers, which he hates.
And you don't get hangovers. And if you drink it with soda water, then you're drinking water with your alcohol. So.
That's a fair point.
There's something I would like to mention about being transgender and whatnot, is the situation for transgenders abroad. And I've been in touch with this young transgender woman who a story should shame the West, because what our governments are given no help at all. A child who came out as a child, parents gave her, or her adopted parents gave her away to rebels that came to their village. Rebels used her as a sex slave. She managed to get away from them eventually. Got to Kenya. The refugee camp she was sent to turned her away because they were no longer supporting the LGBT community. So she ended up in a one run by the United Nations, one of the United Nations, or I can't remember, I've got it all down on file. But she got beaten up in the camp quite a bit. Real transphobic stuff going on in these camps, and nobody's doing anything to stop it. So she escaped from the camp. She tried to get out of Kenya, but got stopped at the border, arrested. Police beat her up. She gets beaten up quite regularly with the police, and she's now out of the refugee camp, but they're trying to get her to go back into the refugee camp. But if she goes back into the refugee camp, then her life's in danger in the refugee camps. And these refugee camps are run by the United Nations, and yet the trans community there get no protection whatsoever. It's just disgusting what's going on, and our governments are doing nothing to support them.
See, it's sad that, I mean, we know that the police have got obvious issues. I mean, they're protectors of capitalism. Right? We know that they protect property. That's what they do. But in a situation like in Kenya, well, maybe not the corruption, but you would hope and expect some sort of protection from the police, and yet they're the ones that are making you feel.
They're the ones that are beating you up.
Aye.
Although she did say that they were going to kill her in the camp, and
who's this? The police or
no, the
other people?
The other people.
Right.
And the police did stop them from killing her, but when she's arrested, the police will still beat her up. They won't kill her, but so they will stop them being killed.
It's amazing that there's division even within a refugee camp. You'd think they'd all be like, we're all refugees,
but they're all,
we should have solidarity with each other.
It's a culture in Africa which is quite they're either Islamic, and again Islam's against LGBT. I mean, you just need to look what's happened in Palestine just now, and that's sad because I support the Palestinians getting their own state against Israel, but at the same time the Palestinian authorities have clamped down on the LGBT community, which
it's hard to get away from, isn't it?
It's hard to get away from it. That's going on.
Tough struggle that's always going to be in place with these sort of situations.
And then the other element in Africa is the fundamental Christians, and a lot of the African Christian churches are very right-wing fundamentalist, egged on by American preachers going across there. And I mean, American preachers are going across there actively encouraging their congregations to murder, to kill LGBT people. So the whole situation in Africa for the LGBT communities is not good. So they go into these refugee camps, and there's no escape from the refugee camps, and but I mean, you get, even in this country, there's still prejudice.
I
mean, I was saying earlier, LGBT attacks on the transgender community have risen by over 85% in the UK over the last 5 years, which is horrendous. The Scottish government kicking the JRA into touch has really upset me, actually, because I was looking forward to being able to put female on my birth certificate, but now, because to be recognised as female and be able to do that, the current rules are you've got to go through a whole load of medical process, and it's quite humiliating.
What is the basis for that? Do they think that there's?
They think that.
They still think it's a psychological.
They think it's a psychological mental health issue. They also want. There's this, because the TERFs are putting about the story that there'll be men who'll dress up to go into women's toilets to rape women. It's just not going to happen. You know, I was looking to try and see how many transgender attacks had happened in women's toilets, and it's very few.
There's very few. There was one in Fife. It was a young.
And that's about the only one I can actually find. You know, because I search and I find that. But what the TERFs do is they operate in the same way as the Tommy Robinson and the EDL and the BNP do. They'll get a story and they'll share it and share it and share
Aye.
it. And then they'll get the same story but from a different source and then share it and share it and share it. So it looks like there's lots and lots and lots of attacks when there's not. It's really not a big issue. And if a man's going to rape a woman, he's not going to get. Do you know what? It takes me ages to get started. You know,
and if you're going to commit a crime as bad as rape,
you're not
going to put in the bother.
No, you're not going to put in the bother.
No.
I mean, getting my face done, getting myself looking the way I do, you're looking at maybe 25 minutes in the morning.
Okay, now.
You know? And in fact, because my mum had supported me, but I knew she wanted a son, and I decided that I'd, for one last time, dress up as Peter, my old name, and go to the funeral in a suit. And I got up in the morning of the funeral, thinking I better get up and get dressed and whatnot. Got my clothes on, I thought, oh my god. I'm dressed.
So how did that feel? Was that a weird feeling?
Horrible.
To be?
I really hated it.
Yeah.
I felt awful. The whole day I was feeling awful anyway, but
I can imagine.
Worse.
So before that day, when is the last time that you went out as Peter?
It must have been 2 years before.
2 years before. So for 2 years solid you were Patricia?
I was Patricia.
Right.
And then for that one day, I had to go and buy a suit because I got rid of them. And they wouldn't have fit me anyway because I've lost them.
Right, yeah.
Well, no, at that point I was still 15 stone. But because of when my partner dumped me, 4 days before I told her what my borderline personality disorder trigger points were, and said if you could please not use them. And 4 days later she used every single one and dumped me. So I was thrown into a huge, one of which had been, I said, you have to give me an explanation because folk like us can cope with a lot of things.
Yeah.
But we need an explanation. If we don't have an explanation, then we're bewildered and that.
Is it because you overthink and overanalyse?
And
go through every single possibility that it could have been.
And also, I said, don't do it by text because you have to do things face by face. If you tell me something face to my face, then it's fine. So she did it by text with no explanation and ghosted me. So I was. Anyway, so so that was on that day. So I was wearing that suit and just feeling shit. I'll never wear it again. The suit went to a good home now. I've got a friend who's the same as me but opposite.
Right, okay, right.
Female to male, so I gave it to him.
Right. So was he pleased with that?
No, because it didn't fit him.
Did it not fit?
So it's gone to a charity shop.
Oh shit.
But I mean, we're talking about transphobia. The Salvation Army is really bad. You know, a lot of people think of the Salvation Army as this great organisation that feeds the poor. Shit.
Nah.
They're feeding the Salvation Army is an organisation I've got a lot of, I wouldn't say hatred, but I do not like the Salvation Army.
Yeah.
They turn LGBT people away from their soup kitchens. They don't allow them into their shelters. They won't have transgender into their shelters. They use workfare in their shops, which, I mean, workfare is a disgusting.
I think a lot of charities use that.
Yeah, they did.
Red Cross. I know I was working with the Red Cross through it.
So I went to I buy a lot of my clothes in charity shops. I love charity shops actually.
It's a place I've yet to endeavour.
Oh,
I've not had a proper look around charity shops.
Charity shops are brilliant. But I went into one, the Salvation Army one in Dunfermline, and the guy kept calling me sir. Deliberately misgender. I mean, I look like this, do I look like a sir? No. But I noticed he never called any other male customers sir.
Oh, so it was a purposeful insult.
It was a purposeful insult. I'll never go back in. You know. Well, no, I don't know because they've got some good stuff in it. My principles can only go so far.
You're like the Liberals in America who stopped Chick-fil-A when it was homophobic, but they only stopped eating Chick-fil-A for like a week. Then they were like, but it's good chicken though. We could deal with the homophobia as long as they keep giving us good chicken.
The problem is, if you decide to boycott everything that because of,
you'd never get
anything. You'd never eat. I mean, the Asda's at the moment are doing some terrible things to their employers. They're getting them to. And I was thinking, right, I'm going to boycott Asda's, and then I thought, well, where do I go? Do I go to Tesco? Right, they've got Israeli links, so I've not been going there. Do I go to Sainsbury's? Right, there's Lord Sainsbury, I'm not going there. You know, where'd you go? That's the problem. Where'd you go? It's
Aldi.
You can go to Aldi, yeah.
Aldi's dope. I love Aldi. It's super cheap, it's rubbish, it's
but
great.
They're not very good for vegetarians. If you're a vegetarian, they don't have half the
stuff. What about
Lidl? Lidl's even worse for vegetarians. Yeah.
Lidl and Aldi are basically the same stuff.
They're basically the same stuff.
It's all basically the same thing.
I mean, that brings you on to food poverty. And food poverty is a major issue. You know, you go to a place like Kelty, they've got the co-op, but you can't get healthy food. There's a lot of processed food, and it's cheap.
Cheap for the co-op?
Well, cheaper than fresh.
Right.
But folk can't afford to get the bus fare down to Dunfermline to Asda or Tesco or somewhere, so they have to go to the co-op to buy the food, and it's costing them more money to buy the food. Plus, they're not getting the range that you get elsewhere, and this is food poverty, and it needs to be tackled. It's like the food banks. You've got the food bank in Cowdenbeath, but if you're going to a food bank, it's because you've no money. So if you live in Kelty, where are you going to get the money?
What is the nearest one, Cowdenbeath, if you're in Kelty?
Yeah.
There isn't one in Kelty.
No.
See, Kennedy's, the town that we're in the news, got a food bank, which I didn't know. It's in the church.
Yeah.
I mean, I can imagine there's not very much there.
Very limited.
Because it seems to just be from the co-op that sends stuff up. People buy extra bread, they'll put that in the basket for that. Seems to be it. But they do like soup and stuff, so at least Kennedy's got a place that people can go. But I've been to Kelty a few times, and getting from Kelty to Cowdenbeath is a trek.
It is a trek. It's about 2 miles, I think, 3 miles. So you've got to walk all the way down, and it's quite a dangerous road to walk on anyway. Or you could go down to the one in Benarty, go through the Meadies, which would be okay. But it's still a walk. And
then you have to walk back with the shop.
Then you have to walk back. I remember when the one in Cowdenbeath opened, I was still a councillor, and they wanted me to come down, smiling. I said, nah, I'm not going. I don't want a food bank in my ward. I don't think a food bank's anything to celebrate. You know, you see pictures of politicians in front of the food bank cutting the ribbon, smiles. No, you shouldn't be smiling at a food bank.
Oh, so you want to be one of these councillors that just go for the photo op?
No.
And then we for a few of them,
oh God.
We were opening the Kennedy Community Shed. I'm not going to name the councillor, but there's only a few.
They're going to know who it is,
Aye.
Yes.
Aye. You'll probably, if you take 2 seconds of searching who the councillors are, you'll probably work out quite quickly. But they came in, and it was the opening day of the shed, and they came in and they were like, who's doing the footies? And we were doing the footies, but we weren't ready at that point, and they had a stall to go to and another tune, so they just sort of left because nobody was doing footies.
But he's done a few things.
I mean, I didn't mind a photo opportunity, but only if it was something that I'd been involved in, and only if it was something that was really beneficial to the community. A food bank's not. A food bank's there because of failure.
Something's failed.
Something's
in
failed.
order to need this thing.
A food bank. So a food bank should never be a photo. That's my phone call.
Some professional, Patricia. Some professional.
We can end there if you want. We can end there, please.
No.
We can pause it if you want. We can just pause.
But I'll just leave it then. That was the very first single I ever.
What is it? What is it?
Queen's Killer Queen.
Copyright issue.
Oh, there will be copyright.
I'm a queen.
You went camp there as well. That's good.
So I would go for a photo opportunity if it was something like that. If it was something that was benefiting the community, like your community shed is benefiting the community, and it's a good thing to have, even if things are failing. It's a good thing to have. So that's a good photo opportunity if you've been involved in it. But also, if I've not been involved in something,
Yeah.
It's a bit of a hard night getting your photograph taken.
You know, I got shoved. You'll remember this. Obviously it was my first campaign. To be clear, I didn't plan to ever stand for anything. I just wanted to. I just wanted to sit at a table and interview politicians and tell them their shit. That's all I wanted to do, and just moan about politicians being rubbish. Right. That's all I wanted to do at any point. And then we interviewed Bill Mayer. You can Bill Mayer?
I can Bill.
Everybody can Bill.
I like Bill.
So well, some people like him more than others.
I do like.
I like Bill. I do like Bill. But he speaks for ages.
Oh yeah.
He's been on here a bunch of times and he just
I've always taken the piss at Bill.
He never shuts up. Anyway, Bill's great. But he
listening to that.
He will be.
I hope he is.
He can't no listen, but amazing. But he messaged me one night. He was like, "Right, do you want to stand for solidarity?" I was like, "No, really. That's not something I want to do. I can't do public speaking. I've got no idea how to run a campaign. I have no idea what kind of policies I would introduce. I have literally nothing to offer to this." And he was like, "Aye, but you're a young guy, you're a socialist." At this point I didn't even ken really what socialism was. I'd been using the word to describe myself, but I just thought sort of left-wing social democracy, that was socialism. I had the sort of American definition in my head at that point. I had no idea what was happening, but he sort of forced me into it. And then I had a meeting with him and Jock came up and said, "Oh, it's a council election. Nobody really pays attention to it. There won't be any hustings, there won't be anything like that, there won't be any media or anything like that." I was like, "Alright, cool. If that's the case, that's fine." And then the campaign got started, and suddenly I had to do a video for the Herald. Was it the Herald? Some paper. I did a video for them, and then I had to do 2 hustings. And that was exactly the opposite of what I wanted.
Anyone that told you there wouldn't be hustings of that was telling you a load of bull.
Aye, well, I thought the only hustings I'm going to do is in Kennoway, but not because we only had 2 candidates. Anything that was sort of anywhere near was just whoever was closest. And I ended up getting forced to a Kirkcaldy hustings at 5 Centre for Equalities. Because Bill was doing a meeting with Tommy, so he couldn't do that, so I ended up doing that, and then I done the People's Assembly hustings the next night. So that I was chucked right in the deep end. What were we talking about?
My wife.
Aye.
I'm with my wife, and the reason that, to be honest, it was me that left.
Right.
And so I left her everything. I thought it's only fair she gets everything. I know when my mum's house is sold and whatnot, I'm going to make sure she's financially alright as well. I was wearing wigs, and I've got a good head of hair, as you can see.
Is this your real hair?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
And my dad's got a good head of hair. My dad was 90 and still had a good head of hair, and I thought I could go without wigs, and I'll probably never lose my hair because all my family keeps their hair. And I says to my ex-wife, I says to Hannah, "I think I'm just going to grow my hair rather than wear a wig." Oh, she says, "I don't like that idea." I says, "Well, why not?" "Well, how could I ever go out with Peter again?" And that to me was, she's not getting this. That guy's gone. And so in the end I thought I'm going to have to go away to be Patricia.
So was this pretty recent then?
About a year ago when that conversation happened, and then it was November that I left.
Right, okay.
And then I met somebody else who turned out to be
psychopath.
Well, she was this great socialist, strong woman. So strong that when I sent a text saying that my mum was dying, she said, I was renewing my licence, and I'd gone onto this site that turned out not to be the DVLA at all. Yeah, they would have got me the licence, but they were charging for it. So I managed to cancel that. So I told her about that, and then I got the phone call from my sister, who gave me a great big talk about my mum dying, who gave me a talk about me being like this. So I said, I sent her a text saying, "Oh, my mum's back in hospital. This is it. She's dying, my sister." And she sent me a text back saying, a really angry one, saying, "Do you understand? Do you understand this? I'm trying to work, and I can't. All this negativity is affecting my work." And I thought, really? And she says, "I'll see you on Saturday," but she never did see me on Saturday. She just that was it. She ended it. The day my mum died, she said, "It's over. I have to run away now."
It seems like a piece of shit.
Yeah, but she's an Antifa. She's a socialist. She's an Antifa, but she said to me, "I can't tell my parents about you because of what you are." Really?
She seems conflicted.
If you're anti-fascist, you would be delighted to tell your parents what.
Even just to piss them off.
Aye, but you know, you live and learn. Definitely, I've learnt my lesson on that one. If somebody comes from a very wealthy background, they might not be who they say they are, or they might.
Well, Engels was alright.
Eh? Engels was alright. Yeah. So was Tony Benn.
Oh, Tony Benn.
Tony Benn came from a really.
He changed though. Did he not start off a bit right wing? And then
he
switched.
They say you get mellower as you get older. No, in case he got
what he must have thought of Hillary.
Oh God! I mean, Hillary's just a Blairite twat.
That is a fucking.
Can't stand Hillary Benn, but the person I hate more than that is Tom Watson.
Oh, the David leader.
Yeah. And the thing about Tom Watson, I quite admired him.
You're not going to get kicked out of the Labour Party for this.
Eh?
You're not going to get kicked out of the Labour Party for this.
Do I care? Listen, I've done a lot of how I've not been kicked out of the Labour Party years ago.
Well, you just said that you support Palestine, so you're going to get kicked out for being an anti-Semite now.
Well, so does Corbyn, I support Palestine. I mean, Corbyn's.
Oh, but he's been called an anti-Semite 3 million times.
Yeah, they want to kick him out, but he's leader, so they can't. No, well, my sister, of course, is getting a lot of hassle about that.
No, so what happened? Is she back in?
She's in, but we're still investigating her, which is it's ridiculous. It's a Blairite.
What exactly are they investigating?
Some of the.
Like, how did it take this long? Because as far as I saw, it was one post, or like one article, or she like quoted an article or something.
Well, I don't know. To be honest, I don't know what's happening there. Mary says they're still investigating, so.
It seems like a lot of bullshit. Because I was quite annoyed when I first heard about that.
It's bullshit, but anybody that's on the left are going to try and. This is their new tactic. They can't. The left is stronger in the Labour Party now than any time for the last 30 years. And the Blairites are getting quite frightened. So attacking us for being left wing isn't working. Getting us out of the Labour Party for being left wing isn't working. So they're using the anti-Semite card.
And they're really beating this dead dog to the ground.
Well,
you've got to
remember also that the Friends of Israel, who are the Labour folk who are doing this, have got links to Israel. You know, Israel pays them, so that's where the money's coming from. It's from Israel, and the Israelis want to shut down any criticism of Israel. So they've conflated being. And I'm not anti-Israel. You know what? Israel is there now. I don't think it would be wise to say we'll have to get rid of Israel. So I'm not anti-Israel, but I'm anti the Israeli government, and I'm anti the Israeli military, and I'm anti how Israel's treating the Palestinians. I'm opposed to them being in the occupied territories. I'm opposed to them being on the Golan Heights. I'm opposed to them bombing schools and. I'm opposed to them having that big wall. I'm opposed to them stealing Palestinian land in Israel itself. They steal the Palestinian land from. So I'm not anti-Israel.
It's in the same way that I'm against the current US government.
Yeah.
I'm against the current US military. I'm against But I didn't think the US should disappear anyway.
And the other one would be, that doesn't make me an anti-Semite any more than me being opposed to what Saudi Arabia does makes me Islamophobic. Yeah. And nobody, you can criticise Saudi Arabia all you like, and nobody will ever say you're Islamophobic. As soon as you criticise Israel, suddenly you're an anti-Semite. And this is Israel. Israel is driving that policy because they want to shut down any criticism. The Friends of Israel have grabbed onto that with glee so that they can kick out, because it's mainly the left who are supporting Palestinian rights and pointing out what Israel's doing. So the Friends of Israel, they don't really think we're anti-Semites.
No.
They're
smarter than that.
They're just using this as a way of trying to get good left-wingers out the Labour Party, and that's not going to work for them in the end.
I heard that did Netanyahu no lose an election or something, or almost lose something?
He almost lost the election. He managed to get a coalition going.
Oh, did he?
It looks like he might have to go again.
Oh, aye. That's good. Who's the opposition though? Like who's the other side? It'll just be the same thing with a different name in it.
I mean, it's like in America. If Clinton could have won the election, and Clinton would not have been as bad as Trump. At least if the Democrats had won, you wouldn't have the racism and homophobia and transphobia and everything that's going on now. You wouldn't have, they're not white supremacists. But in terms of policy, there's not much difference.
No, especially in like economic policy.
In economic policy, that's what I mean. And even Bernie Saunders. I mean, Bernie Saunders is seen as this great hope of the left. But I mean, Bernie Saunders, if he was in this country, would be seen as a social democrat.
Centre left.
Centre left. And not even centre left, probably centre right. Because Bernie's in American politics. Bernie's definitely left wing.
He's a radical. He's a radical left.
Radical left in America, but in this country, he'd maybe be somewhere that.
He might still be in the Tory party. I mean, he might not be saying the same things, but in terms of policy.
I definitely don't think he'd be in the Tories. I think he might be in the Lib Dems.
Well, there's basically the Tories, isn't
there? We're basically the Tories, yeah. I think he would probably.
There again, actually, the Lib Dems in 1945. I don't talk about this actually, so we bit of history here. 1945, the three main parties, the Labour Party, Tories, and Lib Dems. Only one party didn't suggest a national health service, and that was the Lib Dems. The Tory parties
that's interesting.
did.
Or the Liberals anyway.
With the Liberals,
and it was Beveridge who dreamed up the NHS, and he was a Liberal.
He started the welfare.
It was Labour that brought the welfare state in, but
he started the sort of theory behind
it. Yeah. That's interesting. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. I was told to do a talk on the welfare state. And I found that I was like, that definitely has to go in, because that's hilarious.
Especially the Lib Dems. Do you know what? I don't know whether I despise Boris more than the Lib Dems.
I hate the Lib Dems better.
Yeah, I think so.
Boris is honest about being a prick, whereas the Lib Dems pretend that they're nice and helpful, and they're bullshit about being the party of mental health. Shite. They voted for policies that have caused mental health to get worse. Yeah. Causing much worse poverty, and then they're coming around and saying, we're the party of mental health, we're going to sort everything. Bullshit.
I think what I've got to laugh with them just now is they won't work with Corbyn. Oh no, we'd work with anybody, they won't work with Corbyn.
Too radical.
Well, wait a minute. In 2010, they wouldn't work with Gordon Brown, the former government.
Too radical.
And then they wouldn't work with Ed Miliband, and now they won't work with Jeremy Corbyn. Who will they work with?
No. Tories.
They work with Tories. That's all.
Work with Boris Johnson.
And they spent that whole campaign saying we're the only party that will stop Brexit. We're the only party that can't stop Brexit. Jeremy Corbyn's too on the fence. He doesn't know where he's going. Now Jeremy Corbyn's off the fence and saying, I will have another vote. I will stop Brexit. I will make sure there's definitely not a no deal Brexit. Now that he's off the fence, can't work with Corbyn. You know,
So we're going to work with Boris Johnson,
they're
who
gonna
is
work with Boris Johnson.
angling for a no-deal Brexit.
Brexit.
A
And
Tory no-deal Brexit, not even like, because there's a left-wing version of Brexit, obviously. There's Lexit. But
Yeah.
it's not even anywhere close to that. Like, even the left-wingers who didn't like the EU hate Boris's
Boris'
ideas.
idea. I mean, Boris would take us out in a no-deal Brexit. I hate the EU, by the way, but I voted to stay in the EU.
Mm.
But I hate the EU in the same way Corbyn did, because the EU is a capitalist club.
Yeah.
There's no question about it, and it's a club which is going to promote big business, promote everything that I hate about capitalism. The only reason that we've got anything from the EU, the only reason that working class got anything from the EU, like the Working Time Directive, the Human Rights Act and whatnot, was they had to make sure that every country was trading fairly.
Mhm.
So that no one country had a advantage, which meant that they had to standardise all the laws, all the labour laws across the EU. So a country like Denmark, which had very lax, very good labour laws, was able to influence right across Europe. So
Yeah.
all of Europe had good labour laws. But if the EU thought that they could get away with downgrading all these labour laws, I'm sure they would do that, because it's a capitalist club.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
We actually hosted a debate between Bill Mayer and Kay Morrison. Was that her name?
Kay,
Kay,
yeah.
Kay Morrison.
I like Kay.
Yeah, Kay's super nice. We interviewed her twice. It was sad to see her move away, actually.
I'm still in touch with her.
Are you still in touch with her? I was actually super up at the time that I first met Kay. I was seeing a lot of media attention saying that Labour hate Corbyn, that all the Labour representatives dislike Corbyn, and then she was one of the first Labour councillors that I saw
That's not true.
openly. No, I couldn't, but I saw in the media at the
Ah.
time. That's what I was seeing that everybody hates, and then I saw Kay putting her support openly for Corbyn at the time. I was like, oh yes, that's great. I'm finally starting to see the opposite side of the media coverage, and that sort of pushed me to like and her more. And then we got her on for the EU debate. At this point, I had zero idea of where I stood in the EU debate.
Mhm.
I ended up being a Eurosceptic, but I abstained for the vote because my option was there. My option was a left wing exit for the EU, and that wasn't an option. It was Tories or Remain, and I didn't feel right supporting the EU, and also didn't feel right supporting the Tory plan. So I was kind of in a shitstorm of nonsense. But that was a super interesting debate between the two, because and then we done a second debate between again Bill Mayer, again can't get rid of him, and UKIP. There was what was his name?
Peter Adams.
Peter Adams.
Is that the guy with the moustache?
That's
Aye.
right.
He
He's
looked
a
like a
general or
fat-
something. He used to win that.
Yeah. Every time I saw him, I thought it was with Mosley, but
Accurate. Annoyingly, super nice guy. To us, but we're white.
he's a pint shop Oswald Mosley.
Aye.
No, he's a fascist. There's no other way of putting it. And I don't care if fascists come across as nice. Fascists are not nice. Fascists
Yeah.
are bad people.
Yeah.
And fascists should be given no cut, no quarter, no. You know, the only way to defeat fascism, I oppose violence, but you cannot debate with fascists. Fascists are beyond debate.
Here was the first thing, because we refused to get him back on. He was meant to come back on for an interview, and I saw a bunch of stuff. I was like, no, I'm not going to entertain that anymore. One of many things, to be clear, was that he is a big supporter of people with PTSD. I mean, like, he supports people with. He doesn't support people getting it. I mean, it supports. You got what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, he also argues against medication for PTSD. What? That doesn't make any sense at all, in the slightest.
Actually, it does.
Does it?
Yeah. I was on medication for my borderline personality disorder for a number of years, and it was my ex-partner who persuaded me to come off. I was in a very happy place at the time, so I was shining like a light. And then I managed to get an appointment with the doctors just last week. It took me weeks to get an appointment with my GP, weeks. But I got one last week, and I said I do not want to go back on antidepressants, because antidepressants don't cure you. What they do is they destroy your emotions. So all the time I was on antidepressants, I was like basically a zombie. I didn't laugh, I didn't cry, I couldn't cry. I literally could not cry when I was on them, but I didn't laugh very much either. I didn't feel joy, but I didn't feel unhappiness. I didn't feel, I'd listen to music, and I love music, but I didn't listen to music very much. I didn't listen to music a lot. And then I came off the antidepressants and suddenly began to realise why I love music again, because music goes for your emotions, whether it's good, bad, whether it's joy, whether it's making you feel sad or whatnot. And suddenly I began to like music again because I was getting all these emotions going. So antidepressants will stop you being in an episode like what I'm in, but there's a huge cost to pay.
See,
I've always thought they should be called suppressants rather than anything else, because it's like cannabis. Like, people smoke cannabis a lot of time just to kind of get out of like terrible time that they're having a lot of time. So, and it's just a suppressant. It doesn't work towards curing the illness in any way.
No.
It just keeps it at bay, sort of thing. So that's the way.
The only way you can cure a mental illness is through therapy. Therapy does work. I've had therapy before and it helped. When you've got a long-term condition like mine, it will help for so long. You need to keep getting therapy, and the problem is the resources aren't there to keep you getting this therapy. So, you'll be fine for a while. Then you fall into the pits again, and then you have to wait weeks for therapy, or months for therapy, or even a year for therapy. Where you would never ever fall into this pits if there was therapy available immediately. If I'd been able to get therapy as soon as 2 months ago when my mum died and whatnot, I would not have gone through the hell. And the Christians' version of hell is fire and brimstone and all the rest of it. I would rather have that than the hell I've been in mentally. You don't know what it's like. It's just, I could not describe the hell that you're in. It's, you don't eat, you can't eat. Your nights, you don't want to sleep because your nights are full of nightmares. It is hell is all the word that can describe. It's mental torture. You sink into your own head, and you're this wee ball in your own head. And folk don't understand as well. So you're dealing with this, knowing that nobody else can understand what you're doing. If you had cancer, or if you had a broken leg, folk can sympathise, they can see it. But when you've got this, you can't describe it to folk, and you cry a lot.
See, that was a thing that I never got, because I went through a pretty semi-long period of depression in 2014. I went through a suicidal phase, and I went through a sort of a housebound phase where I didn't leave the house for like a year, 2 years maybe, and that was pretty brutal. But something that I never done was cry. I've never seemed to be able to have that thing where I cry, and it's really unsatisfying, actually. Really.
I think the problem in Scotland is men are brought up, men don't cry. And that stays with you, and I've let that go now, because I was like you, I didn't used to cry. I think coming out of Transgender, women probably helped, because I've tried to throw away all the male stuff I was taught, and now I do cry, and it does help.
Did you have the macho bullshit back then as well, or were you never sort of?
I tried to cover up what I was for a long time by trying to be macho, and I was never really macho. That was the trouble. I was a in a feminine git. But no, I support Dunfermline. But the reason that I go to football, I wish, do you know what? Biggest mistake in my life, because they bring me nothing but pain. But
my granddad was an East Fife supporter.
Really the same.
He knows pain.
But the reason that I started going in the 70s, my dad used to take me when I was younger. I was never really interested. And then in the 70s I started going, mainly to try and fit in. You know,
Right,
I'll go to football, that's a macho thing and whatnot. Yeah. But here's the funny thing, I thought when I came out and there was places that I'd be going, and the one place that I thought I was really worried about was the football ground, because it's a really testosterone laden atmosphere, and you know, you've heard about homophobic comments and all the rest of it. I've never had a bit of bother.
No.
Never once. I've been accepted totally, and I remember folk, the Lizzie Club, which is the Feminine Supporters Club, travel club,
Right.
knew the Lizzie boys, if there's going to be trouble, the Lizzie boys will be there. That's, you know, they're all drunk. They all wrote to me saying, really proud to have you as a fan, support you.
Nice.
I was greeting. I was so...
Got you set up again.
I felt, oh my God, that's just, lovely. It really was lovely, that.
That seems nice, aye.
And they says, now, if anybody gives you bother, let us know. And I thought, no, I probably won't let you know, because I'm not wanting to start a riot.
See, that's when you can real tough guys.
Aye.
They didn't need to dismiss everybody who's not as tough as them. They could accept, they could embrace, they could love, they could do all this, and they'll still kick somebody's arse if they need to.
Yeah.
They're the guys that are
they're the guys you want to know.
Aye.
They're the guys, if you've got a problem, they're the guys you want at the back of you.
Aye.
Definitely. But I was really, and I was surprised that I got over 300 messages from constituents congratulating me, which was lovely as well. So coming out as a councillor.
How long were you a councillor after that?
I only did 5 years.
Right.
I was going to do longer, but my mental health, I was told, if you carry on, you'll end up.
So that's a tremendous amount of stress to your life as well, being a councillor. It's not like, it's not shining.
It was a lot of stress. Eventually I got sectioned, so.
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
I think I'm not going to stand for the council again, just in case I accidentally win somehow, because that sounds awful. Because I've heard.
But I would have won. That's the thing. I think I would have won. I did enough work. I put in enough work in the ward that folk would have voted for me again. So I would have won. Even on the Labour ticket, I would have won. In actual fact, it was 2 Labour councillors I got in, so I definitely would have won. And even now, even though Labour's are popular, I think I could probably have done it again. But it was just, I knew, because I've got fibromyalgia as well as this,
right,
and at that time I was going through a really bad spell. I was having to use a wheelchair all the time and whatnot. Whereas now I'm very, holy DWB, don't listen to it. But I try not to use the wheelchair. I can't walk very far, so I use the car more.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm worried about losing my driving licence. So, because of they're doing investigation because I'm in a borderline personality disorder episode at the moment. They're doing extra investigations. So I've been told I can drive just now, but
so if you've not got your driving licence. So if you get stopped, what have you?
Well, this is the problem. I don't know what would happen if I get stopped.
Because you know, just be like, aye, they've got it.
That's right. Actually, it doesn't matter now because the police can check it on.
Okay, all right.
Check it online.
But
you can check your own driving licence online now.
Oh, I might do that. Just curious.
Yeah, just be careful with the sort of sites you go onto, because when I was renewing it, I went onto I typed in DVLA, and I got to the site, and it was, and I filled in the forms and that, and then I paid, and I thought, it seems awfully expensive. And I checked and whatnot, and then realised, oh my God, that's not the DVLA at all. It's an agency who charge you to do it.
But you have to go through the same forms.
But you have to go through the same forms. So I got in touch with the DVLA and told them what had happened, and they says, do not issue a licence to them. And of course they didn't, so I had to get my money back because the DVLA didn't issue the licence. But people should be aware that there are these sites who do that, and it's perfectly illegal for them to do it. But you'd think you were on the DVLA site, and you're not on the DVLA site at all. It should be illegal in my view, but
No.
it's not. So yeah, so that's, you know, being a transgender, having mental health issues, having fibromyalgia. My life. Wonderful.
Sounds like a laugh, a right laugh.
Oh, I have such a good life. It's,
Blessing.
you know, but things. This last 2 months anyway, have been grim, but things will improve again.
So when was it you knew? I've heard a few stories about people who are trans who.
I knew when I was a child.
A lot, normally children.
I mean, even at school, I was never macho. I was never been with the boys. I was never. I used to get called a sissy and everything, so I must have been quite effeminate. The only boy game that I really played with had a train set. It was quite a big thing then.
You never liked football actually, did you?
No, I didn't like football. As a child, I didn't want to play football. I didn't want to go out into the street and play football. I didn't want to. I'd sooner play with dollies. I just did not feel like a male, and that went through all my life. And eventually, I thought, no, I'm going to come out. Best thing I ever did. But I couldn't. It was difficult to come out, even up to the 2000s. Before equalities legislation was out, the police could still lift you for indecency.
What, for wearing a dress?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And
so if a man wears a dress, that's indecency.
Yeah.
Why don't know indecency if a woman wears a dress?
But because I don't know.
That's dumb. That doesn't make any sense.
When I see the police cars and they've got the pride symbol on them, it makes me sick. And I think, were you the guys that were picking up transgenders and beating them up just a few years ago? You know, I don't trust the police as far as it goes through them. I never will trust the police. The police are the servants of capitalism. The police will do what they are told to do. I mean, you just need to look at the miners' strike in 1984. Although that wasn't all police, there was army there as well. But the police were quite happy to go in with the boots raised and beat the miners up, and the police would quite happily do it again. If ever workers decide they've had enough, if ever a revolution does come, you can be sure that the police will be there.
Aye, definitely.
Fighting us.
We interviewed a policeman, Sergeant Craig Fayal, who was. Did you hear about the Leavenmouth police Twitter?
No.
There was a thing about that because the guy was doing. Oh, he was all funny and happy and nice, and he was talking about folk getting lifted, and if you do something stupid, you're going to get lifted. Or just daft. It was like he was being he was trying to be funny with it. Using words like huckled, and you got huckled first, and like putting up a picture of a pot noodle and a bit of bread and saying, oh, we've got a room free at the inn, yeah, if you want to come in, that sort of thing. So he got media attention for that, and so we thought, well, this is a chance to get views. So we went down and interviewed him. We got invited into the police station. We went into the interview room and we set up the mics and the cameras, and no, we didn't have cameras at the time, just mics, and we interviewed him. And at this time, Bill Mayer again, Bill. Every single story has got Bill Mayer in it. Pain in the arse. He was quite into the Sheku Bayo case. You get about Sheku Bayo? It was a black guy that was killed by police officers.
Yeah, I've heard of that one.
So we asked about that, and he essentially said no comment. We asked about some dumb rules, like the police used to do a blue light disco. I reckon if this was widespread.
That was quite widespread.
Right. Yeah. Where if any young people came to the disco with any alcohol in their system, they were pushed away. And our argument was that at that point, those bairns, instead of being in a safe environment with police there to help them, and nobody else drunk, no issues caused, you're sending them out into the streets where they're going to go and get more alcohol, they're going to be with other people who are also drunk, and they're going to get in bother. It would have been safer for everybody to just let them in, give them a glass of water, let them sober up, give them something to eat or whatever, and that's it. That would have been much easier. And again, no comment. He couldn't talk about anything. Was there anything that he discussed?
Not really.
Not really. Just everything. He just had to hide away from everything. Nothing. Absolutely useless. And that's what the police are. They can't talk about anything.
This alcohol issue is actually something else. Did you know that when you present to a hospital with mental health issues, when I went down, the first thing they did was to breathalyse me. And if you've got any alcohol in your system at all, they turn you away.
That seems backwards.
It's very backwards.
Considering alcohol is a depressant.
And considering that, you know, folk with mental health, if they're really depressed, they might try and drink alcohol to, you know, off you go. So the first thing that I got was breathalyzed. But you're right about the police not allowing folk with alcohol in. They should have let them in.
Yeah.
They did. They also.
Obviously, you could, if they've got any alcohol in them, take the alcohol off them. I'm alright with that. But it was just the fact that people were just shoved back into the streets with everybody else that didn't want to go and got drunk.
I mean, to me, the whole point of something like a blue light disco would be to try and get kids off alcohol.
An alternative,
an alternative. If they go along, okay, they might have alcohol in their system, but if they go along, they go into the blue light disco, they think, well, this is great fun. And they're told, but the next time you come, you can't have alcohol in you. Then they might go back and not take the alcohol. But just to turn them away. They're counterproductive.
They've got no semblance of forward thinking. There's not, it's just instant in the moment. This is against the rules, so it's no happening.
So the bairns that go that have got no alcohol in them are probably not the bairns they're needing to reach out to.
No.
The bairns they're needing to reach out to are the ones that have got alcohol.
Aye, the specific ones they're pushing away. Aye. Again, I don't know. They wonder why crime statistics are starting to go back up again. Stupid shit like that. There's no need for that.
I hadn't heard. I didn't realise that they did that with the blue light disco. I knew they were going. They also had the Twilight League.
What was that?
It was they worked with the local clubs. They had one going in Cowdenbeath. It was actually really good, and they played football.
Right.
But they had trainers from the clubs there. So the bairns weren't just going and getting a game. They were actually getting proper training, and they were getting a proper game. And I mean, in Cowdenbeath you could get upwards of 30 or 40 kids on a Friday night. Now these bairns, if they hadn't been there, they'd probably been wandering the streets, getting up to whatever.
Well, what's the age range for these?
I think it was 16 upwards, 16.
Right, that's a good age.
You know.
Because anything younger than that, I mean, largely, I mean, they'll pretend they're drinking, but a lot of 14, 15 years didn't actually.
It was a 16 to 18, 16 to 20, I think. Just the sort of top years at school type of range. But the fact that they got training from a professional as well was quite good. And I remember I went up a few times and I watched the games, and some of the games were quite good. I was looking, thinking they could play for Dunfermline probably better than some of the players.
Send some to East Fife.
I sent some to East Fife. But it also made me realise that with football, you've got to be at the right place at the right time. And it's like, do you know, this society is so elitist in so many ways. There is still an elitist trend in this society. If you've been to the right school, you're going to get on.
Aye.
And I'm not talking just about private schools, I'm talking about even state schools. You know, you take my daughter. She wanted to be an actress, or she wanted to go into drama somehow, work in it. And she went through the Scottish Youth Theatre, got through all that, and then she was to go into the seniors. And she did the auditions, and she did well in the auditions and whatnot, but she didn't get in. I saw the list of the names of the folk who did get in the schools, and the list of the folk that didn't get in the schools, and I thought, if you went to Lochgarry High School, you could be the best actor in Scotland, but you wouldn't get in.
Aye.
It was going to be the person that came for Dollar, or the person that came for Bears Den, or the person that, you know, you could see all the top schools. That was the bairns that got through. Places like Lochgarry, Kennoway, Methil, they weren't going to get in. And it is so elitist. And if you look at the acting industry, you see, I mean, watch Coronation Street, all that working class accent, and then you hear the actors being interviewed.
Aye.
And they've all got middle class accents.
Aye, aye.
You know, why not hire true working class people to work on a working class programme?
That's what I like to do with This Is England. I reckon if every actor in the thing was working class, but definitely Sean, the guy who plays the wee guy.
Yeah.
He was definitely working.
I think
they just got a guy for a school. They actually went in a school.
Aye. But if you look at these Harry Potter films, and you heard the main characters all being interviewed, if you'd come from Castlemilk, you were never going to become a Harry Potter. Ever.
No.
If you'd come from Dagenham, you were never going to become Harry Potter. You know, if you came from Oxford, oh yeah,
you could be Harry Potter.
Right. And it kind of, in actual fact, the Harry Potter books are shite, because
I've not read any of them.
I've read them.
Can't even argue against you.
And I started reading them when my daughter was young. Her gran gave her the books, and I thought, right, I'll read them as well. So I read them. Fun stories, you know, there's some good ideas in them. But at the end of the day, they're quite elitist. And J.K. Rowling is quite elitist. Not only is J.K. Rowling quite elitist, you know, J.K. Rowling, yes, she says I came from single parents and whatnot. She came from middle class background, fuck off. And she might have gone through a tough time for a wee while, but not very much. And she's a TERF. She does not like transgender people. She tried to hide it for a while, but she's become more and more
she became more open about
it. And you read the books, and the books are all about people should be who they want to be. People shouldn't be condemning other people because of who they are or what they are, or, you know, and some people can be one thing but another thing. And so she's got all that in these books, and yet, oh no, you can't be female because you've got a penis. Really? Wonderful.
Did you not make I might be mixing up different things. Did you not make Dumbledore gay?
Yes, she made Dumbledore. Yes, she did.
Yeah.
And apparently some of the stories, some of the other stories are coming up are going to have gay characters. So I think she's a very confused one.
Do you think she's maybe playing to the LGBT community in order to try and combat the fact that she's...
No, I don't know. I don't think she's homophobic as such. I mean,
no, but I mean, if she's transphobic, do you think she's maybe playing up to the other sections of the LGBT?
No, I don't think that's the case. I think she's transphobic in the way that there are some women who, for some reason, cannot countenance that we could be female. We're men, that's it. I think she's just a confused woman. I don't think she's a bad woman.
You think she's like malicious?
I don't think she's malicious.
Right.
I don't think she is malicious. I think she is quite elitist, but I don't think she's not a Tory as such. She's not, you know, she's not
Lib Dem.
I don't think
she's a playwright, isn't she?
She's a playwright. I don't think she's a very complicated character. She's not absolutely right wing, but I don't think she knows what she is herself. Actually,
She's a billionaire though.
She's a billionaire.
Or is she actually a billionaire?
Yeah.
She's a billionaire. That's all you need to ken, really. She's a billionaire. How many nice billionaires do you ken?
A very few.
Well, apparently I've been told that George Soros is apparently my favourite person as a socialist. because apparently he's George Soros. He's apparently funding all the Antifa, and he's funding. all
Yeah,
these
I've heard all
socialists.
that.
What utter bullshit!
I've
Like
heard
George
all that.
Soros is going to want to end capitalism.
If you're a billionaire, you're not going to want to end capitalism.
No.
But I think, you hear about self-made men. There's no such a thing as a self-made man. You can only become rich on the backs of other people.
Nah.
You can't become rich on your own. You become rich on exploiting other people.
And luck. A lot of people didn't see. We religiously watch a guy called Gary Vaynerchuk. Ironically, I mean, he's a total idiot, but he always says the same bullshit thing of just keep trying, and you'll succeed eventually. All this nonsense, right?
You won't, and it's not just luck. It's having been ruthless. You've got to be absolutely ruthless. You've got to be somebody who does not give a shit who you hurt. You know, you'll only become rich by hurting people. Eventually you're going to be hurting people. And I do not, take Richard Branson. I hate Richard Branson. I despise Richard Branson. When he was younger, all this, and I'm a hippie, this hippie sort of stuff that he had. Richard Branson became rich, or his Virgin stores only made money by undercutting small local shops. And he did it by avoiding tax. He had a tax scam, and in this case, he was deliberately not paying his tax. He went to jail for it.
So evading as opposed to avoiding.
Evading tax, yeah. He got caught. He was not sure how it worked, but apparently it was records that were meant for the export market.
Right.
So they didn't have tax on them. So he was taking them across to France and then bringing them back. And then taking them to his shops, no tax had been paid on them, and selling these records at a lower price than all the other small record companies.
So like folk David Fargus and Bocky and that.
Yeah, but he was doing it on an industrial scale. And it closed down a lot. There was a lot of honest small record shops in those days. There was these wee record businesses were fantastic places. You could go and you could browse the records, you could listen to the records, they'd give you coffee even. They were people who loved their job, who loved selling records, who loved music.
Just happy to have a chat with music, even if you just...
Yeah. And then Virgin came along with these record shops, undercutting all these wee shops through various nefarious means, and it put all these wee shops out of business. And then you got these big Virgin mega stores which killed music in the end, because the wee record shops, they would try and get all sorts of different types of music. They'd buy alternative music, they'd buy music from bands that had never been heard of. They'd take, somebody would cut a record themselves, these wee shops would take it. Virgin didn't.
No.
So once Virgin got rid of all these small record shops, then they began to then they could control the music industry. HMV did the same. So you had the big four record companies who basically were making records, but then began to sell the records, and that did away with the wee man. And these big record stores, if you cut a record, they weren't going to take it. The wee record shops would take your music, and they've killed music and the X Factor and things like that. It's pure capitalism. There's pure capitalism. People say capitalism is good. Capitalism is innovative. Capitalism destroys innovation. Where I say it's important, and things like the arts is music. Capitalism's destroying it. It's
now you have to try and make money for it as opposed to just
make money
because you like it.
And it's to be grey, bland, non-confrontational,
vague enough to appease everybody.
And it also makes sure that bands that have a real political bent never get heard. They'll cut them out. If you go back to the 60s, not the 60s, well, even the 60s, yeah, but especially the 70s, early 80s, and you had lots and lots of bands that were singing political songs. You had the whole Red Wedge thing, which was anti-Thatcherite.
Yeah.
Now, at a time when we're I would say we're in an even worse position than Thatcher. Boris Johnson, and I would argue even David Cameron's government, made Thatcher look almost benign. So we're at a time when...
I'm too young to remember Thatcher.
I remember Thatcher, it was awful. But you're at a time when we're heading towards fascism. Where's the music? Where's the bands putting out songs that are anti this? They're not there. They were in the 80s, they were in the 70s, but the music industry's destroyed them. The music industry, by destroying the wee record shops, has destroyed it. The only saving grace that can happen is the internet, because bands are able to load up to sites to companies like Spotify, and there's bands doing that. But the music industry is bringing out injunctions against some of these bands. They'll load their stuff up to Spotify, and then the music industry say, oh, we actually own the rights to that music because we've got these, and they do things like, these two notes that go together there were in this band song, which is ridiculous because you're always going to get, but the whole point isn't to, the whole point of that is they know full well they're going to lose the case, but it takes the band off Spotify, so you're not hearing it. So the music industry is even trying to control that. The music industry is capitalism perfected. It's pure and utter capitalism, and it shows you that capitalism is not innovative. Capitalism destroys innovation. You know, people will say, but if it wasn't for capitalism, you wouldn't have mobile phones, you wouldn't have this, you wouldn't have that. Yes, you would.
Yeah.
Yes, you would.
It's nonsense.
For the simple reason that people are curious. You know, a scientist isn't going to stop being a scientist because he can't make £1 million being a scientist. A scientist will still be a scientist. If you're interested in the world, if you're interested in how things work, if you're interested in making things, if you look at something and think, you know, that might be able to do something like that, you're going to do it, whether you're going to make billions of pounds from it or not. As long as you've got enough to live on, as long as you're getting a decent wage, as long as you've got a comfortable living.
In fact, arguably, if you're living in a world where there's no money incentive, you don't have the limits that you might have in a capitalist system to invent things.
That's true.
So it could be worse in capitalism.
If you were a scientist, I mean, the problem with scientists just now under capitalism is that they need to get funding for their research. So before they can even start research, they've got to go out and try and find out who's going to invest in this. If you had a system where you didn't have to worry about who's going to invest in this, if universities employ scientists and scientists could just do research without having to worry about the money, you're going to get more innovation at the end of the day, a lot more innovation.
But that's why, like, a lot of things like chips and mobile phones and that, they were all invented by government funded things as opposed to private
things. And also a lot of the things which are put down as being innovative are actually there to control us. You know, the chips in the mobile phones, when you think about, where was that? If you go out, if you're on Facebook and you go somewhere, something pops up now. You were at such and such a place, could you rate this? So they know where you are. If you've got a mobile phone, I suppose there might be some way of deleting everything that spies, but if you've got a mobile phone, the government can tell exactly where you've been. They just need to go into they just need to ask Google.
Google have says though that they will not cooperate with intelligence services.
And you trust a private company like Google? I wouldn't trust them.
I never said I trust them. I'm just the messenger.
I would not believe Google if they, really. But you're quite happy with selling information to any to the highest bidder, because they do sell to the highest bidder. So, you know, if the government says, they're saying we wouldn't sell it to the government, but if say one company said we'll give you £10 million and the government says we'll give you £20 million, they're going to sell it to the government.
No.
Right away. They're capitalists. That's what capitalism is. It's about money. And also, if Google thought they could close down socialist groups or close down socialists by giving information to the money, bloody sure not be doing that.
Aye, right.
Because that's what they want to do. And it's the same, anybody that's got an Amazon Echo in their house.
You've not got one.
You say something to Amazon Echo. If you were talking to your friend and you said, oh, I'm thinking I'm needing to get a new handbag, you go into Facebook and find, or you go to the internet and there's adverts for handbags. So they're listening all the time.
You need an ad blogger.
Can I jump in? We've got 5 minutes left. 5 minutes of recording time.
Right. Well, I guess we'll just wrap. I guess we're running out of time. So we'll just wrap. We'll just wrap up here. Is there anything else you want to say? Do you want to advertise your new political group thing that you're in?
Aye, RS21. If you're into socialism, RS21 is a really good group. We're very radical left. Revolutionary socialism in the 21st century is what it stands for, and we're just trying to bring all the left together. It doesn't matter what political party you belong to, whether you're in a political party or not, what union you're into. RS21 trying to bring the left together, because the problem with the left has always been fragmented, been sectarian, and left-wing groups don't seem to work with each other. And if we're ever going to destroy capitalism, which is the ultimate aim, which is what we must do, I mean, it has to happen now, we need to get together. We need to stop fighting each other. We need to stop attacking each other. We need to, we need to get to the same programme. And we need to be able to air our differences without one group saying, well, I'm not having that and walking away.
Splitting.
Splitting.
Right, well, thanks very much for joining us. It's a pleasure. How do you end this again?
It's whatever way you want.
End.